Hello guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today's video, I am going to be sharing you my top 5 favorite romance books. So let's get right into it. One of my favorite months of the year is finally here. It is February. February is a month of everything about love and romance and self-love and everything pink and flowers and hearts and chocolates and of course romance books. What better than to spend your entire month of February, even after Valentine's Day has passed, than to spend your time reading romance books. I have my top 5 favorite romance books I've ever read thus far right here, and I'm going to show you them, and I'm going to go down the list from my 5th to my number 1 favorite romance book. Let's just get started. My number 5 is, I've talked about this before on my channel, and it may shock some, but I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and that is Up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennet. This is one of your typical mass market paperbacks. I actually found this in the airport on my way to Florida a couple years back, and I picked it up because the cover is honestly really pretty. I picked it up because 1, the girl's a redhead, 2, she's in a library, there are books all around her, and 3, of course, the beautiful boy. This is probably the most like those typical like 80s to 90s Fabio inspired covers, and I think it's honestly really funny, really gorgeous at the same time. I feel like the cover for this book does not do it justice. This book is so much more than just your plain mass market. I picked this up in an airport romance book. It is very dark academia and Victorian Edwardian era romance. It's about our main character. Her name is Artemis Jones. She has been writing these romance novels under a pen name for the last how many years, and she has been dreaming of opening her own women's college, and she needs help for that. So she finds help by none other than the Duke of Dartmoor, Mr. Dominic Winters. He is in need of a wife, someone who will provide him with an heir and help him to manage his Spitfire adolescent daughter. The problem is, society has dubbed him the Dastardly Duke. Rumors are rife that he murdered his mad wife, so his choices for a suitable bride are limited. But then he meets the ravishing and passionate Artemis Jones, who might just be everything he needs. I devoured this. I devoured it. It was perfect. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The characters were really fun and very well rounded despite it being a romance book, and I feel like over the past couple of years have gotten a lot of cringe and a lot of hate, or like people that read romance books have gotten a lot of hate just because like that romance books aren't as intellectual as other books, or that they aren't good literature. But honestly, this book, while it did have its kind of stupid funny just for the smut moments, if you know what I mean, it also had a very compelling story and a touching story at that, and it really did have a really good love story as well. So this is my number 5 for this list. My 4th pick for this video is The League of Gentlewomen Witches by India Holton. This is the 2nd book in the Lady Scoundrels series. What is the series called? The first book is the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, and this book is The League of Gentlewomen Witches. This series does not have to be read in order. I read this one actually first, although that there are some characters spoken about in here that are in previous books. You don't need to read them in order to understand the story. This was pitched as a, if you love Jane Austen, practical magic, and Pirates of the Caribbean, this book has it all. So this is about a witch and a pirate falling in love and defying all societal norms and being really hot in the process. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the tea house, Miss Charlotte Pettiford belongs to a secret league of women skilled in the subtle arts. This is to say, although it must never be said, witchcraft. The Wiccan League strives to improve the world in small ways. Using magic, they tidy, correct, and manipulate according to their notions of what is proper, entirely unlike those of ones in the Wisteria Society. When the long-lost amulet of Black Beryl is discovered, it is up to Charlotte, as the future leader of the League, to make sure the powerful talisman does not fall into the wrong hands. Therefore, it is most unfortunate when she crosses paths with Alex O'Reilly, a pirate who is no Mr. Darcy. With all all the world scrambling after the amulet, Alex and Charlotte join forces to steal it together. If only they could keep their pickpocketing hands to themselves. If Alex is not careful, he might just steal something else, such as Charlotte's heart. I get butterflies just by reading that. This was such a fun read. I read this during the summer of 2023, and it was such a cute, funny, laugh out loud book. I really liked this. It had everything you could ever want, really. It had playful banter, it had tension, it had really suspenseful stakes, and of course a really hot Irish pirate. Me and Irish pirates. Me and pirates in general. I made an entire video years ago about my favorite pirate romances. I'll leave that up above, but this should definitely go on that list. I hadn't read it at that point, so that's why it's not on there, but this should definitely be on there. Oh my god, I loved this so much. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars as well. I was going to go over the spice levels of each of these books. I would say Up All Night with a Good Duke obviously had quite a bit of spicy scenes, and they were all open door, just an FYI. And this one only has, I think there's only one or two spicy scenes, also open door. Just to put that out there for anyone that likes spice or doesn't like spice, whatever, it's your preference, it's your cup of tea. But yeah, this one isn't as spicy, but it does have, I think, 1 or 2 spicy scenes. If you don't like that, you could skip those scenes, and they're not really needed for the story. They're just there for the plot. I really liked this, and I have not read any other of India Holton's work. I really plan to because I really loved this one. I do have the first book in this series, The Mysterious Society of Lady Scoundrels, and I do know that a 3rd book came out, I think, last year. So I am getting my hands on those because I love India Holton's writing. It is so quick and witty and funny, and it's very laughable. There was a lot of times when I was reading this and I would seriously like laugh out loud or like throw the book because I was laughing so much. Coming in at number 3 is a somewhat of a new release, and that is Love at First Book by Jenn and McKinlay. The main character is a redhead, and the dude is Irish. Now you know my type. This is about a librarian who goes to Ireland because she is wanting to help her favorite author write her last book. The author is a little bit up there in age, and she has not been writing for years, and she is a very famous writer of this big series, and they stopped at a huge cliffhanger, and then she went on a whole writing block. Our main character, Emily Allen, goes to Ireland to help this author finish the final book in her series. When a librarian moves to a quaint Irish village where her favorite novelist lives, the last thing she expects is to fall for the author's prickly son, until their story becomes one for the books. My favorite part about this book is that they literally flirt by book quotes. They will flirt by saying quotes from classic literature, classic romance literature. I need this. This is what I need. This is a book for book lovers. This is a book about a book lover falling in love with another book lover. This is what we need. This is my standard. So if you're a man looking and you're watching this video, this is your standard right here. Our male love interest, his name is Kieran. Kieran and Emily help his mother write the final book in the series, and sparks fly as soon as Kieran and Emily meet. We're talking about books the entire book, which is perfect. So yeah. So spice level with this is also open door romance, but there was only about 1 or 2 spicy scenes with open door romance. I could not put this book down. I read it, I think, within like 2 or 3 days. I don't remember, but I read it so fast. I was giggling and kicking my feet like a freaking schoolgirl because this man is everything I want. He is Irish, he is a book lover, and he loves coffee, and he lives in Ireland. Standards. Now, the next book is technically a duology. I'm counting the duology as one book. So, coming in at number 2, many of you may know this. This duology has been talked about for a while now, and it has been flying off the charts of BookTube, of BookTok, of Bookstagram, all the things. This is a dark romance. This book is kind of what really got me into the whole dark romance genre, or subgenre I should say, and it's none other than Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline, which is the second book. I don't even know how to even talk about this without blushing or like getting kicked off of YouTube, because this is a lot. It's called The Cat and Mouse Duet, and it's about our main character her name is Adeline. So she's an author, and she is living in her grandmother's grand old mansion, and turns out that she thinks she's being haunted by either a ghost or her grandmother's ghost, because at some point in this book she finds her grandmother's journal. She's about the same age as Adeline is in this book, and she's writing all about living in this house, and there was something or someone was haunting her back in the late 20s, and the same thing starts happening to Adeline, and Adeline soon realized that she's being stalked by a stalker. So I'm gonna read the back. The first part is The Manipulator, and it says, I can manipulate the emotions of anyone who lets me. I will make you hurt, make you cry, make you laugh and sigh, but my words don't affect him, especially not when I plead for him to leave. He's always there, watching and waiting, and I can never look away, not when I want him to come closer. And then the second part is The Shadow, and this says, I didn't mean to fall in love, but now that I have, I can't stay away. I'm mesmerized by her smile, her eyes, and the way she moves, the way she undresses. I'll keep watching and waiting until I can make her mine, and once she is, I'll never let her go, not even when she begs me to. These books have not left my mind since I read them, and that's all I'm gonna say. If you're in for really dark romance and extremely spicy romances, read this duology and thank me later. Now, coming in at number one, my number one favorite romance book is this book. And I have spoken about this book a couple times before on my channel, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. And while this isn't technically a romance specific book, you won't find this in the romance section. This book has the most beautiful romance I've ever read about. So just wanted to clarify that, and that is none other than The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I read this back in 21, I think. Yeah, 2021. I made an entire vlog about it. This book made me cry so much. The reason why this is my top favorite romance book is that it's such a beautiful, beautiful story and such a beautiful love story. I was broken by this book. So we are following our main character, Addie LaRue. She makes a deal with the devil to live forever. But the catch is, she will live forever, but no one will remember her until one day someone does. This book goes through multiple different timelines because, of course, we're following Addie, who's been living forever since the 1700s, France 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman makes a Faustian bargain to live forever, and is cursed to be forgotten by everyone she meets. Thus begins the extraordinary life of Addie LaRue, and a dazzling adventure that will play across centuries and continents, across history and art, as a young woman learns how far she will go to leave her mark on the world. But everything changes when, after nearly 300 years, Addie stumbles across a young man in a hidden bookstore, and he remembers her name. Another part where we're following book lovers, and we first meet the male love interest in a bookstore, and he is the bookstore owner. And another funny thing I remember about this book is that he has a cat, and the cat's name is Book. The cat's name is Book, and he lives in the bookshop, and his name is Book. He is the first person that remembers Addie, and when Addie finds this out, she is completely so mesmerized. She cannot believe that this man remembers her name, and so she starts this relationship with him, and we are just going on this adventure through 300 years of this woman's life, and it has been a bleak and sad life she's been living until this man walks into her life and changes it forever. I cried at the end of it. I have an entire vlog about it of me crying over it. It still sticks with me to this day. Another thing I really loved about this book is not only is a lot of it taking place in the bookstore, but it's also taken place in New York City. I absolutely love New York City, and I love bookstores in New York City. So the fact that our present day timeline is mainly in a bookstore in New York City is so much fun. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous book about a girl who lives forever, the deal with the devil she made, and a man that will forever remember her name. So it's kind of a love triangle. It is a love triangle in a way that is such a beautiful one, if that makes any sense. I adored this. It was one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. The writing in this is so lyrical and so prose-like that I read this so slowly because I didn't want to miss anything and I just wanted to live in this world forever. Again, standards. Standards. So those are my top 5 favorite romance books I have read thus far. If you guys read any of these books, please do let me know. Any of you have read these books and one of these books are your favorite books, please let me know that too. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And I am so excited to be reading in February. I'm going to be reading, of course, lots of new romance, and hopefully I will find much more 5-star romance reads this coming February. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you have not already, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I upload. I upload every single week. And if you want to find me anywhere else or any more bookish content like this, you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, GoodReads, and in between the pages of a book. And as always, remember to be the Captain Jack Sparrow of your story, and may your compass lead you to amazing things. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.